love-hate relationship with Skype. Swear to God, sometimes it works perfect, sometimes it doesn't. Cool if I'm recording?
Yeah. Hey, so I might move because sometimes I get uncomfortable. So I might be like this, and then
I don't give a shit, man.
Here.
Do the fuck you want.
I might fucking,
whatever you want, man. I always forget. Because I've had 3 straight guests bail, so I'm a little off. 135. I don't know the date or the time. Everyone listening to this podcast is available on Spotify, BitChute, DTube, blah, blah, blah. All those websites, they'll all be linked in the comments. Mr. Shon Tiger, who, without a doubt, you definitely have the coolest name of anyone I've ever had on. Shon Tiger. That's pretty badass.
We should all have 2 different names. Everybody, I feel like, is like a Bruce Wayne or a Clark Kent. Man, you got to have your professional name, and then you got to have your superhero name. Some people it might be a stripper name, so who knows?
Yeah. I just skip between Thomas and Tommy. Thomas when I need to talk to someone that I think is smarter than me.
Mm-hmm.
Tom or Tommy for everyone that I just see as normal people.
Well, I think your last name's pretty cool. You just got to work on a better superhero name or a stripper name. Then you'll be good.
Tommy, Tommi. Whatever the stripper variant of that would be. What would
if you decide to become a male stripper, you can go with Tommy Lauren.
Tommy Lauren?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I recognize that name. Who is that? That's that chick, right? Yeah. Fuck it, man. I'll be Tommy Lauren, man. I'll be her, and shit, man. All I gotta do is marry Ralph Lauren Pola, man. I can be Tommy Lauren. Sexier version.
Just send me about $1,000 check every 6 months, and I'll be good.
I got you, man. I'll get you every week.
Shit, bet.
Yeah, dude. So, yeah, I've had 3. I swear, celebrities die in 3s, and guests cancel in 3s.
Why? Like, why? Why do you think?
Why do I think? I have no... Oh, I mean, people cancel for all sorts of... I mean, they're all... I don't mind... What I hate is, like, ghosting. When I'm, like, here, ready, and they just don't show up, and then they don't respond, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, are you dead? Or do you... And then just, like, the next day, like, oh, sorry, I was busy last night. I'm like, go fuck yourself. I don't mind when people, like, have to cancel. Like, they're sick, or they've got this, or they got that. I don't mind it. I mean, it's a pain in the ass, but I don't... Like, I get it. Like, life comes first. Like... So, but yeah, I've had 3 straight people, and it always just throws me off because it's like I get up, I work out, I meditate, I'm like ready, get everything ready, and I'm like, all right, let's do it. I gotta I don't just like sit down and do it. Like my whole day, I build to it. Yeah, it's. I mean, I attack it like I attacked getting into med school. I'm like, this isn't like a thing I do on the side. It's like fucking all out. Let's go. Yeah. It's Yeah, and then they don't show up. It's kind of like getting blue-balled. It's just like, I'm working at it, and then, like, I don't nut. That's what this is. So, yeah, it's kind of a pain in the ass, but thankfully, you showed up. So thank you, sir.
So on that subject, before we get into the nitty-gritty, so my friends, it's mostly all my civilian friends. Nothing against, I love my military friends, I love my civilian friends, but... Sometimes my civilian friends, they think I'm a little bit too harsh on how I handle like loyalty and friendship with people. Because in the military, I'm not trying to say military is the shit. Like everything should go by military code. No, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of jacked up stuff in the military, as everybody knows. Mm-hmm. But as far as in the military, when you're dependent on your life with somebody and you have a roommate or you're living with 10, 12 guys or in a squad or in a platoon, whether you like some of these guys or not, man, your lives depend on each other. So if I call you my personal friend as a civilian now, and I feel like you do something disloyal to me, or we agree on something and you don't follow through, it bothers me a lot. So in this past year, in this past year, like there have been 3 like really good friends of mine that I just cut off. And where some of my civilian friends are like, dude, Shon, you're pretty harsh. Like you've known this person for a decade and you stopped talking to them because of that. Real quick instances of why I quit talking to them, because like the segue is that you're talking about, I don't know why it's so hard for people to just follow through. Like I really do not get it. Like, I don't get why somebody would waste your time knowing that this is something that you care about, and then to not even give you a warning, and then just not, like, bro, I don't even have internet. I'm using a mobile hotspot. Like, it's not hard to make it work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So to waste I don't get why people say stuff just to say stuff and not back it up. Like, it really bothers me. So, like, these 3 friends, I cut one of them off because they lied about coming to, like, my birthday outing. And it wasn't like, oh, yeah, I'll try. It was like, I'll be there right after work. And then next day, nothing. And then finally, like, 2 days later, they just say, hey, like, what's going on? Like, nothing happened. I'm like, no, time out, rewind. Like, why? My birthday outing is not just random people that are coming there. It's people I, like, actually care about. So you embarrass me, and for you to lie to me and then not show up, oh, like, I took like big offense to that. I straight up, like, deleted them. I took their number out and everything. And then I forgot that when you block people on Facebook, you got to block them on Messenger too. And so then they messaged me back, and I was like, oh, I thought I blocked them. But
you gotta go full Communist Party of China. You gotta go full CCP. Just gotta ice them. You no longer exist.
So I'm single. I've been single for a while, but as I'm talking to women and get to know them, like, I learned a lot about myself. I told you a little bit about this, of what it's like to be a man. When I was younger, because some of the stuff I watched were, like, pre-programmed by Disney and these TV shows to always, like, chase women. I've learned a lot in these past 4 years, and it's like, hey, you can be a good-looking woman, but I'm just as important as a man. I care about myself. I care about my time. Your time is not more valuable than my time. So if you can't figure out time between you, work, your schedule, whether you work out and however many kids you got, then that's your own fault. I'm going to continue to do my thing, but, like, society raises you to be like, oh, please, like, give me a piece of your time. Anything you can do, lunch, dinner.
Yeah. It's got that. I started noticing it in high school. It was that, like, there's this sort of, like, image that's been, not even in Disney anymore, but, like, I live under a rock culturally. I like to make podcasts. I like to make my own thing. I don't, hey, have you watched this series? I'm like, dog, I can't concentrate, man. But the things I have seen, and you can kind of see, you don't even have to watch series as much as you can just get the gist of it from, like, memes or maybe YouTube clips, is the, like, bumbling idiot dad character. You know what I'm talking about? Whether it's, like, Rick and Morty or Modern Family or Office or Malcolm in the Middle or King of the Hill or South Park or Family Guy or Parks and Rec. I mean, it's all this shit, and it's just like, the bumbling dad, like, oh, honey, I'm messing up, and then there's, oh, I'm lucky to have your mother, and it's, dude, what is this fucking, like, limp dick, spineless shit? Like, what? And I'm not saying that it should be like a bumbling wife and a strong dad. No, happen to just both people being, like, strong, like I don't know who is stronger, my mom or my dad. Like, there's no, like, oh, I'm just a bumbling idiot. Like, what I was, what the fuck, dude? It's like a weird subconscious programming of, like, you're a dummy, like, you're neutered, like, get rid of your balls, like, mow your lawn and live in your little, it's like, what happened to just, like, being a dude, like, being a guy? I can't speak. I haven't been in the military, but obviously you know what it is. It's side rant. Yeah.
No. Hey, if you disagree with me on anything, that's perfectly fine. If I disagree with you something, that's fine too. But
beautiful, yeah.
But along what you're talking about, people not respecting sometimes, and I feel like, and I'm not gonna harsh it all on social media. Like, it's benefited me in a lot of ways, but yeah, there's the disadvantages of where I feel like back then when I met women, like, I literally had to approach women, get their number, and then talk to them on the phone. And, like, there was lead up. Now a lot of stuff is in inbox, and, like, a lot of women, they got so many guys hollering at them, especially if they're average or above. Like, they get to pick and choose. So I let, say, my time. This is a big thing just about why I am the way I am, where some of my friends think I'm crucial, because I don't care. I'm not going to talk about my past with women, maybe a little bit, but there's nothing. There's not. I want to say almost nothing a woman can do to like super impress me by how good she looks. I was engaged to like a super hot Croatian for 3 years who spoke 5 languages. Like regardless of that we separated, and I'm glad we are. I would never get back with her, but if you don't speak 5 languages, you're not smoking hot blonde from Croatia. Like there's not what you're gonna do to me, you know. So, but I feel like a lot, and men, we do stuff too, but I feel like my time is so important to me, and I've learned to be like, look, if your time doesn't line up with me, I'm done bending over backwards to make your time more valuable than mine. And I feel like a lot of more men need to do that, not only for themselves, but in relationships, and learn that, hey, if you want to go play cards with your friends, like, but then you're going to break that rule to hopefully spend like to waste money on dinner to make some lady feel good, who she's probably going to go on dinner with another guy tomorrow, the day afterwards. No, man, like it's okay to have like ownership of your own time instead of bending over backwards for some fine looking chick who's probably messaging 20 other guys.
It's like a little point of pride for me. I've never used, I think I'm the only friend of my friends. I'm the only person I've never used a dating site or app. Not once. Not ever. There's a certain like,
I wish I mean, that's something to be proud of.
There's like a general, just like, I don't know, something about, and I mean, it's not my cup of tea. I don't mind people that fucking sleep around. Your life, man. You live once. Go get it. It's between 2 consenting adults. It's none of my business, but just, I don't know. There's a certain like, not even that. It's not even like sleeping around. It's like, there's just something about like getting on this like digital carousel and like swipes. I'm like, for me, it's like my own, I don't know, maybe like pride or respect for myself. It's like part of me like steps outside of myself, and it's like, I'm not gonna do that to you, buddy. Like, you know, I got more. I'm happier alone than. Yeah. I don't know. There's something about it that just seems very, I don't know, disconnected, unhuman. We're getting off into it, man. Why don't you introduce yourself for everyone listening? Because you and I spoke on the phone for like an hour the other day, and I'm just realizing, like, oh wait, no one knows who you are. Like, well, I mean, they might know who you are. Actually, there's probably a better chance they know who you are rather than me. But for those who don't know you, Shon, give them a little rundown.
Oh man, you know, like that's a weird question when somebody asks you that about yourself, because like you don't want to be like, oh, I'm He-Man or something.
Well, let me tell you how I was once now. So, okay, yeah. So, okay, more important, I know you were on American Ninja Warrior, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the important one to me. I'm like, American Ninja Warrior, cool. Like, so that's what I mean, yeah. I have a lot of friends that watch that, so yeah. So there's one that they'll be able to tag on to. Yeah, but you were in the military, you were in a survival show, and...
Yeah. I did 6 long-ass years in the United States Marine Corps doing infantry. Funny thing I think about it, man, if I was to do another 2 years, I would be retiring, but there would be no way, like, if I was still in, my 20 years would be in 2 years. And I was just thinking, like, I don't think there's no way I could make it in the Marine Corps 20 years for infantry, doing possibly 4 to 5 to 6 deployments, and keep my mental sanity. And I remember I have guys who are like, dude, man, you know, you'd be retired in like 2 years. I'm like, I don't even know if I'd be alive or mentally stable to make it. And like, I can't even fathom still being in the military 20 years with like everything that goes on today, like all the politics. But yeah, anyways, I did 6 years in the Marines, and then I did a survival show sort of by myself that I felt like was a big part of my life, not over the military, but definitely at least right there, a very humbling experience. Grew up in a bad neighborhood. I live in the suburbs now, so I feel like all of those little things, and living in other countries and having white friends, black friends, Hispanic friends, friends, a little bit in between different religions, I feel like all of that is sort of molded me to be a little bit acceptable of a little bit of everything in life.
Yeah.
So,
and you were in. Explain your role or your time in presidential security.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
That's a badass one. That's probably cooler than American Ninja Warrior. Like that's badass.
We literally had this conversation to where when you do stuff, you just forget.
Yeah.
We had so whatever. I guess whoever's watching. So
do you have that picture? Do you have that picture?
Yeah, let me see.
For everyone, for everyone,
I'm just going to the whole thing up.
Yeah, for everyone listening, not watching, Shon is showing me a picture of.
I don't know how good it's going to.
It's coming through. You and George W. Holy shit! In the Oval Office.
Yeah. All right. So.
Yeah.
Woo. So we were having this conversation, and so I have like pictures in my place and plaques and stuff. But to me, it's just art that you walk by. Sometimes you acknowledge it, sometimes you don't.
Mm-hmm.
All right, am I good?
Yeah.
Okay. And we were having this talk, and sometimes, I'll have people over, and then they'll go, "Oh my gosh, is that you at Bush, or where are you at? Is that in the White House, or is that at Camp David?" And I'm like, "Oh, that is me.
Oh,
yeah,
that old thing."
Honestly, I forgot. But so yeah, I did. I went in the military right after September 11th. I didn't know what I wanted to do in my life, and they told me Marines was the hardest one. And then I had people commenting that I wasn't going to be able to do it. I was too short. I'm 5'4", like on a good day. And on top of that, I was doing infantry. Like that's the worst thing to do after September 11th. You're asking for a death wish. Went to boot camp, graduated, did School of Infantry, graduated, and then along that process, I got selected for. I got to apply for like Presidential Guard duty, and like even in itself with that, like that's just a story of how they select you, the testing that you got to do, and then I remember like one of my.
Can you tell me some of that?
Yeah, but like
dude, there's no structure. We can do whatever, man. If we we can do more than one podcast. It doesn't matter, dude. Fuck it. I want to hear about that, man. Tell me about how do you even get selected for that? Like, what is? Because I mean, you have that picture of you shoulder to shoulder with him. Like, I know that like I would never be allowed to be within an inch of the president. I just feel like there's
sounds like a question. Like they let me.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like just in general, like. Anything I like have or haven't said online, I just feel like they dig it up, and somehow I would be deemed like a threat to national security. Even though like I love this country, like I don't give a shit who's the president, left or right. I'll stand by him. But like, yeah. So they let you. So yeah. How do they cite who can and can't be in presidential security?
Yeah. So this is what I remember. Parts I remember. They got you had to be like an 0311 Marine, which is infantry. And then forget, I don't care. So it's like some of this is funny. I think some of this is just I remember there was I feel like a few hundred Marines. And then I feel like some of the guys who were picking people, like some of it, they would just look at you and they would be like, nope.
Yeah, just something about look them up and down. Fuck no, get out of here.
Like, it wasn't that simple, but I remember there was this guy in front of me. He was like this bigger guy, but like I felt like he was a dork because he was in my platoon in boot camp. But like physically stronger, yeah. But like mentally, was he composed? So I remember he was in front of me, and they sort of started separating people, and then I just felt like this line of people that they weren't too sure of. They were just shoving in this one line, and then I just remember like 2 minutes later, he was like, "Yeah, they don't like me," and then. It was just weird. Like, I don't want to try to say that's how they were judging people, but I sort of felt
why not, like man?
Precursor process.
Why not? They've probably been doing this shit for so long. They've got a subconscious like scanning. They can just look you up and down. And there's something about you. They're just like, fuck out of here.
Yeah, get out of here. I mean, you're always going to have some slip through the cracks. Yeah. Thank goodness I wasn't one of them. But
yeah,
they did that. They do like a little. Like a little IQ testing thing or like a GT score thing, and then you do like your math, English comprehension. This like that day took maybe 5 hours of just the paperwork stuff, and then I remember I think the funniest thing that I did is before like they decide like, hey, we want you to pursue on with this, is that they had me in this panel. like this interview room, and there was like probably 3 Marines, like 3 officers at a table, maybe like 1 gunnery sergeant or first sergeant. And then there was a few other Marines sprinkled around the room. So they're just going through my thing, and they're like, yeah, you got perfect 300 on your physical fitness test, which says you got to do 20 pull-ups, you got to do 200 crunches and run 3 miles under 18 minutes or whatever. So like they're like, yeah, you got 300s across the board, and they ask you stuff just to see how you respond. So I remember one of the questions they asked me is like, what's my biggest influence? Like, what's my favorite animal? And then so he's like, what's your favorite animal? I was like, a tiger. And then so they're like, why? And so right off the bat, like I told him why. And he was like, I think that's pretty interesting that right away you were able to tell me without thinking, because usually people will go, yeah. I was just looked them right. This is why. And so the last thing that they did is, which I thought was sort of funny, is that he goes, man, I see you have all these perfect physical fitness tests. And he goes, but you're 5'4", you're small. And he goes, I just find it hard to believe that you're going to drag somebody out of battle and carry them. And so there was this big, like, this is a huge ass Marine in this room, like in this corner. Probably, I'm guessing, like, I'm not going to try to make him sound like he was Brock Lesnar, but this dude was big.
Yeah.
So he's like, I want you to pick him up, go up to him, pick him up fireman's carry, and walk around this room 3 times. Man, I had put that big son of a bitch on my shoulders, and I mean, this is when I was like pretty fit.
Yeah.
So nothing. I took his ass around the room, and then I remember I did 3 times, and I stopped. This is what was funny. I stopped, and I looked at once I got to my 3rd round, I stopped and I looked at the table. I had him over my shoulders, and then one of the officers looked at him, and he's like, they were like, there's like a table right here, and he looks at him and he goes, he slides him like, I don't know what it was like a 10 or 20 or something. He's like, I told you. Gives him the money, and he was like, he can still keep going too. And he's like, hey, he's like, you can probably take him around another round kitchen. I was like, yep. And then he was like, gave him the money. I thought that was funny that they had a bet. Like, I don't know whether I could do it or not.
Yeah, hey, Ben, the Oppenheimer and I think Enrico Fermi, it could be wrong, 2 scientists at the Manhattan Project, dude, they had a bet whether or not it was going to go off. They're literally, yeah. I mean, the heads of the Manhattan Project, harnessing the power of the first A-bomb. It went off, and it was like, pay up, fucker. Smartest guys in the world. They had other bets, dude. They thought that was going to light the atmosphere on fire. They thought it was going to light the atmosphere of the world on fire. But the logic was, hey, if it doesn't, then that means the bomb works and we're going to drop it on Japan. If it lights the atmosphere on fire, then that means we also destroyed Japan. So either way, the logic was we're destroying Japan either way. But yeah, man, top tier special access program, Manhattan Project. Yeah, man, nuke goes off. They said the mushroom cloud's still rising, and then Oppenheimer had to pay up. Yeah, shit, man, goes all the way up. Yeah. Betting is on all platforms, from military to the stuff you heard Michael Jordan bet on in games to stuff you're talking about. Yeah. Dude, I'm sure. I imagine there was bets going on in the Kennedy White House during the Cuban Missile Crisis. I'm sure they're throwing it down. How much you want to bet nukes fire today? Him, Kissinger, I'm sure they all were.
Man.
But yeah, so what is the, like, or do you even know? Do they, like, how do they, like, clear you to know you're not, like, you're not like a foreign agent getting close to the prez?
All right, so then they get an agent on your file. He'll go to, depending on where you grow up or how many times you moved, he gets put on your file. He'll check out what schools you want to. He'll talk to teachers. I feel like they hopped on it pretty quick too, because I remember once I graduated boot camp, my neighbors already told me that a special agent had came to talk to them. So like they hop on it pretty quick.
Yeah.
As long as everything you told, like I mean, right now probably smoking weed is probably not a big deal. But back then, I mean, early 2000s. Like, hey, have you ever smoked weed before, and all this stuff. Like people didn't really want to tell the truth about it because I guess it was still considered like a bad drug. But stuff like that, as long as you tell the truth and it matches up and they catch you in it, you've already told them the truth. For the most part, you're good. but of course everybody, you know, has stuff that they want to hide. That I was pretty good. I mean, I was honest about, like, man, as long as you didn't really put people in a hospital for something crazy or whatever, they understood, you know, us as young men, man, we're going to do stupid stuff in middle school and high school.
Yeah. I feel like they're probably more interested in not what you did. Like you said, so long as it's not something horrendous, they're probably more interested in not whether or not you did it, but are you just going to own it? Like, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, sir, no, sir, I did it. Yeah. Like, that's the more important thing. Yeah, I wouldn't give a fuck if they did something. It'd be like, they own it, like, because they're gonna find out. Mm-hmm. Like, they're gonna find out. It doesn't matter. Yeah. So.
Yeah, they did that, and then while they're doing that, it takes a while to get your clearance. So then I had to go like security force school, and then past that, and then I had to go to Washington, D.C., where I had to wait out to get my clearance at like the 8th and I barracks. And then once you get your clearance, man, sometimes it can take, by that moment, it's already been in process for like close to a year. So by the time you get to Washington, D.C., man, if you can get out of there in 3 months, which will be like right at a year where they start your clearance, like, that's great. But there's some people, man, it's about 1.5 years to 2 years. So they're waiting, like, some almost a total of 3 years to get their clearance, because either something they got caught up in, or they moved around a lot, or some of their family lived overseas, where you could be talking about to know if somebody's not. Yeah. So, like, all those little things go into factor. Like, you know, if you got a German last name or something like that, oh yeah, this shit might take 3 years.
Oh, dude, there are guys I've had a guy from Delta Force, and he was talking about, like, one of his friends, like, ex-Delta, like, as elite, you know, bleeds red, white, and blue as anyone, but his mom was born overseas. And because of that, he couldn't get Yankee white clearance, meaning he couldn't work in the White House. His mom is, yeah, dude, I guess. So, yeah, obviously you cleared all of it. And what do you... It takes a year. So they're really...
If everything goes through, I'm not saying smooth, because I had a few hiccups, but, like, if you can get your station, whether it's at the White House, Camp David, or communications agency, if you can get that within a year or at a year, like, that's good.
Damn. But it can go longer.
Oh yeah. Man, there's guys that I know there's some guys who have spent their whole 4 years just waiting for their clearance, and they didn't get it before their time was up. So what they did now for that program is that they changed it, that if you get presidential support, you have to do a minimum of 6 years now. You can't do just 4, because you're waiting for your clearance may take up that 4.
Yeah. Yeah, and they don't want to invest all that time just to have you be like, peace. Like, yeah, get all that clearance, and then be like, I'm going to quit and start a podcast. And they're like, what the fuck, man? What the fuck? Yo, I got to go take a piss. Hold it. I'll edit this out. Sorry.
I don't care. Go ahead.
Destroying water.
Man, you already know. I got my boys on deck right here.
Water gang. So, are there like tiers of, like, White House security or presidential security? I was thinking, like, in my completely unlimited, or not unlimited, my limited knowledge of this, figure if you had someone that, like, didn't pass security clearance, or they didn't get everything they wanted, maybe you'd put them on, like, the outermost perimeter. You know?
No, you got your clearance, that's it.
Damn, all right.
You don't get nowhere near.
Fuck.
Yep.
So where you said you served at Camp David, right?
Yes, sir.
What does that entail? Can you talk about it?
Like little bits and parts. So
yeah, that's fine.
I sort of went through this when I did my survival show. They asked, and then, like, when I was on Ninja Warrior, man, they just kept, like, dude, they were just pressing for stuff. I'm like, I don't know, like, I've been through this multiple times, but
yeah.
So anyways, you get to Camp David, and which is, like, sometimes I remind myself, man, that's like a place of history. Mm-hmm. If anybody doesn't know what Camp David is, So the way I'll put it is that White House is a president's like mainstay. Secret Service runs the White House. You come to Camp David, like okay, Marine Corps is a department of the Navy, but as far as like security go, man, Marines rerun that. Like when I got senior enough there, I would tell Secret Service agents where to like position themselves too. And I remember the first time when I even got that, when I got senior enough to get that job, and they're like, yeah, you're going to meet with these Secret Service agents and tell them like where to be and stuff. And I'm like, huh?
Me? My dumbass? Dude, Garrett Graff talks about that in his book Raven Rock. Talks about Camp David. It's all about like presidential bunkers and shit. But part of it is like there's like a bunker like at Camp David just in case shit goes down while they're there. Yeah, and they talked about it, like Marines guarding it, and they're like, not even Secret Service could go in. It was like there were certain places where it was like it didn't matter who you were. It was like president's wife, president's kids, and maybe like cabinet members. But it was like aside from that, it was like shoot to kill. It doesn't matter if you're a Secret Service agent. Like, fuck off. But yeah, Camp David was actually, it changed names under multiple presidents until it got to Eisenhower named it David after, I believe, his grandson. And then after Kennedy became president, after the Bay of Pigs, before the Cuban Missile Crisis, Kennedy met with Eisenhower, kind of like seeking some advice. And apparently he met with Eisenhower and was trying to like commiserate with him. He was like, no one knows how hard it is to be president until you're actually the president. And I guess Eisenhower just didn't give a fuck, didn't view JFK at the same level of him. Because he was like, as Garrett Graff says, he was like the 5-star general that oversaw the largest amphibious invasion in the history of man and who kept the Cold War cold for 8 years, didn't have much respect for JFK. And he apparently, in JFK's words, quote, gave me the tongue lashing of a lifetime. And because of that, JFK was so grateful for because he was surrounded by yes men. And then Eisenhower came in and just tore him a new one. They went for like a walk. And he was so grateful for Eisenhower's unfiltered criticism that he decided that they were going to keep it Camp David as a sign of respect to Eisenhower. So it had been named differently under each president for multiple presidents. And they got to Kennedy and he was like, yo, we're going to keep this Camp David. Like, show some respect to Ike. Little factoid for anyone listening. But yeah.
Hey, man, I appreciate it because I did read that. I actually have like a book about Camp David because I bought it because I wanted to see how accurate it was. Mm-hmm. But I didn't know all the history, and I did read that, but over time I sort of forgot, and then you just reminded me, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's a little factoid, but yeah. What else can you talk? Because I know it's probably
So just to try to wrap up my life.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
The presidential support thing. I will say this. I'm gonna try to keep this at like 5 minutes to wrap up this. So it's I think now that I look back, you got to remember when I'm doing this, I got there before I was even 21. So I'm a 20-year-old kid. By the time I leave, I'm 23, maybe 24 or something. And like now I look back, I'm 37, and I'm like, damn, man. I'm like, I helped protect, like. If not, I don't know, maybe Trump might be him as like one of the most, I think it might be a tie between, you tell me this, I don't want to get off subject. Let's say 20 years from now, who do you think will be more memorable? Because I think they're all neck and neck right now. Bush, Obama, or Trump. Like
they're memorable for different, they're memorable for different reasons. Yeah. Bush, 9/11, Iraq, Obama, first black president. Bush, tail end of Bush, 2008 financial crisis. Obama, black president. What?
Bush had the
Afghanistan, Iraq, WMDs.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But Obama killed Osama, but he was also the first black president. And then Trump just brings down the house around him for good or for better or worse. He just coronavirus though. So I don't know, man. 9/11, COVID, killing Osama. I don't think 20 years you'll be able to determine who. I think it'd have to be longer. I think.
Yes, okay, that's a close though, but they're all like neck and neck in a way.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because you're right. Bill Clinton kind of he's kind of faded as neither good nor bad. It was like he balanced the budget, but he got a blowjob, so everyone hates. But it's like, yeah, in terms of like polarization, yeah, I don't know.
And Bush had Katrina too. He had
You're
Katrina.
right. 9/11, Katrina, Iraq, Dick Cheney pulling the levers behind him.
Man, so I got to a point now that I'm looking. I'm like, damn, man, I was a 20-year-old kid carrying a pistol, multiple weapons on me, ammunition, standing next to, without Secret Service, not only next to Bush, not only his dad, not only his wife, not only his family members. I'm like, sometimes I sit back and I'm like, damn, like I couldn't take all that in as a young 20-year-old kid. I'm like, man, like I just wanted to get sleep and go out and party and meet girls when I wasn't.
Yeah, it's not registering.
I'm like, that is nuts.
Yeah, I feel like you probably look back on it. It probably feels like you're looking at someone else.
Yeah, and because then you got to remember you're just young and you're just doing a job, and if you
don't want to fuck it up, you just
fuck it up. So it's like you don't really try to like take it all in. You're just like, man, I just want shit to go smoothly. Like I just like you just don't want to lose track of where the president is.
Yeah.
Like because you always need to know where he's at, and somebody's like calls you on the radio and like, where's he like you just don't want to fuck up.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Maybe that's by design, man. Maybe that's by design. You want someone who is just so young and intimidated and focused on doing the job. You don't want someone, I'm 29, you're 37. You don't want someone our age that would perhaps be contemplating the fact that you are next to some of the most, not some of the most influential people on the planet. You don't want that sort of pressure to start weighing on you, That's how you get crazy people like Lee Harvey Oswald or Giuseppe Princip. Or no, sorry, Gavrilo Princip. It's, the guy that set off World War I. It's maybe you want that. Maybe it's by design. You want just sort of scared shitless, right? I just want to do my fucking job. Yeah.
I remember times. All right, I'm gonna try to really wrap this.
Dude, it doesn't matter. There's no time limit, man. Do whatever. It's fucking doesn't matter.
I just remember even times just where Bush or his dad would talk to me, and like now I would respond differently. But I remember I just didn't want any problems. Like sometimes they would come and talk to me about stuff, and it was like I don't want to talk to you. Like I just want to guard. Like don't say nothing to me.
Don't talk to me.
Oh yeah, I'm protection, but like when they speak to you, you got to speak to them. But I remember, man, just let me try to give you like 1 or 2 stories. I remember one time I was playing this. I was at this one building, and then I didn't know it. I knew something was going on because I could hear commotion. Because like the president, I can't speak for Obama or Trump because I don't know how they like to operate, but in a way I feel like it's all the same, whether they're safe or not, because you got to keep them safe. But when he's traveling and when you're in a controlled space to where you're not, like somewhere in LA, like a building or a convention center or something, we're in a controlled spot like the White House or Camp David is at. When he moves, sometimes like it's like there's ghosts around him where you can't see them. You might be able to hear them, but like people just move around real smoothly, and you might hear a little radio chatter. And so I remember I was in this one building, and I was doing something, and I just sort of started hearing small, quiet commotion. It was like real smooth, and I'm like, something's not right, but I'm technically off right now, so I'm not going to worry about it. And then all I remember is I see like an agent walk past, and then I just like sort of give him a head nod, and then all of a sudden, like I see like an older guy, and I turn around in this bush, and he's like walking up on me. And I'm like, so it was sort of weird because like I wasn't on duty, but I was just like, I didn't really know what to say. So I'm like, how you doing, sir? And he's like, don't mind me, keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
But so I'm playing like this game. I'm playing this game, and he's literally like standing next to me, like watching. So you already know how like frustrating it is, like if your girlfriend's watching you play a game or like your buddy, and I'm like,
you're playing video games?
I was gonna say it was a certain type of game. That's all I'm gonna say.
Grand Theft Auto?
So all of a sudden, I remember he's standing next to me watching. At that moment, it stuck in my head like the president of the United States is watching you play a game. So and he wants you to keep playing. So he's literally standing next to me right here, and I remember I messed up because like I can't even concentrate now. And then the first thing that came out of Bush's mouth, he looked at me, he like nudged me, he was like, "Dang man, you suck." And then. Like he was like, "All right, I'm about to go over here," and then I remember one of the agents was laughing, and then I was just like I didn't even want to play the game no more.
And I haven't played video games since. Shit, man. What if he asked you for the sticks? And he was like, "Man, Barbara, cancel my 2:00. I'm gonna teach this kid some manners."
Yeah. So like.
Yeah, dude, man, how the fuck do you even? Like, I freak out when the teacher would stand over my shoulder when I was in 2nd grade.
Right.
Keep doing your math. 2 + 2 is 9. Yeah, it's Bush is standing over your shoulder.
When the teacher's standing over you and you're like taking a test, and then she's saying what the answer you found out, and then you look up at her and she's like, you're like, "Oh damn, like it's probably a wrong answer."
Dude, I remember my sophomore year in college. I was in genetics in Valdosta, Valdosta, Georgia. It was my 2nd semester of my 2nd year right before I transferred to UGA, and I remember going up to the professor, and I was like, really wasn't sure on one of these genetics problems, and I was like, "I think it's B," and I was looking at him, and he looked at me and kind of smiled and I was like, "Thanks, man." And I went back, changed it to C, turned it in, got it fucking wrong, and the answer was B. Never saw that motherfucker again. It's the only time it's ever happened in my life. Dude gave me a little like heads up, like, "That's not right." I was like, "Thanks, man."
Like I had a connection.
Yeah, I ended up getting a B in that class. Fuck that guy. But yeah, god damn, man, that's in what. So I don't mean to, I know you're trying to move on from it, but I got to bring it back. I'm not sure I entirely understood it. What did you mean when you said there's like ghosts, like? So
obviously
not actual like phantoms. I mean, but they know.
I look at Secret Service as like ghosts, to where like so where if you people who are sensitive to that realm, they can sense or see. So like me saying I'm sensitive to them, I know how they move around, so I can see them. To where if you were around them, you might be able to see 1, 2, maybe 3 agents. But really, there could be 10, but they're in different spots, but you just don't see them because they blend and they move smooth.
That's what you said, smooth. Yeah, I had on the Delta Force guy, Dale Comstock, and he said his Delta team, quote, flowed like water. Mm-hmm. Said it wasn't jumbly, or said it was just smooth, like like water. I guess that's kind of like a ghost. It just that's terrifying.
And you won't see. Like everybody's like, "I think I've seen a ghost before." Yeah, like I said, you might see 1 or 2, but like there's a group of them that are just all in different positions, and they move. So
and
that's
they have rifles. They have rifles. These aren't just ghosts. These are ghosts with rifles, and they're connected by radio. Yeah. These are savage ghosts. So, yeah. So we talked about. Again, so we talked about this
one last.
Yeah, dude, keep going. It doesn't matter, man. I'm enjoying it. No, I like it, dude. You gotta stop apologizing. You have stories of hanging out near the fucking bushes, dude. That's awesome. That's badass. I'm fine with talk. This is awesome. Did you go on Air Force One? I think
is important that
Did you go on Air Force One?
Everybody who. Obviously, I got problems with politics. Like I don't claim a party. I think there's advantages and disadvantages of both parties.
Yeah.
But just as a human being, like I think one of the most important things I saw was when I was with his dad one time, and if they're doing anything or if they're not like at a certain building, they don't like to keep any TVs on CNN, MSNBC, Fox, none of that. I don't know about like I can't speak for Trump or Obama. But that they should be feeling like they're not at work.
Unplugged.
So I remember I was with his dad one time. Yeah, I was with his dad one time, and there was some TVs in the spot that we were at. So we tried to either keep it on like the CMT channel because they're from Texas, maybe a hunting channel, and then I can't remember the other ones that we tried to keep it on. But I remember his dad walks in, say a few words to his dad, and one thing I will say about any president, man, like I get it. Whether it's him, Obama, Trump, I do try to show the respect that I know that it's a job that I wouldn't want to do.
Yeah.
Definitely. But I remember his dad was watching something, and he was like, hey, he asked me if I could turn it to CNN. And I just sort of looked at him, and I was like, you want me to turn it to CNN? He was like, could you please? I was like, all right. So I remember I turned it to CNN. And sure enough, man, like as soon as I turned it there's this chick blasting his son. Like, not even commercial or nothing. It was just like, it was this lady, and I remember she just started tearing this son. And I remember the whole time, Bush Sr. just there watching the whole entire thing for, I want to say, at least like 15 minutes. Didn't see him swat his hand, didn't see him. But I remember one of my somebody in my chain of command came into the building, and he was like, why in the fuck do you have it on CNN? And I was like, he told me to turn it there. His dad told me to turn CNN. And he was like, he literally told, and I was like, yeah. And he goes, all right. He's like, well, I'm getting back out of here because the chick was still just slaughtering son. And I'm like, man, I was just thinking in that moment, like, I don't have any kids, but I couldn't imagine where there's any relative, even a friend of mine, like just turn it to a channel and watch somebody tear apart somebody like I care about, like a family member, knowing that person doesn't personally know them.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel it's very easy to look at it and it's like, oh, well, the president deserves all this criticism. And I mean, hey, what a great thing we live in a country where you can criticize the leader without being taken off to a gulag. But yeah, I can see where if you're the family member and it's like this person you knew their entire life, and them being president is just the most recent thing they're doing. But up until then, you just knew them as brother or dad or uncle. Yeah. And then just seeing people tear into him and just being like, hey, man, he's a pretty nice guy. Like, maybe he's not doing the best job, but trust me when I say he's a good guy. Yeah, I guess it kind of brings it into perspective. It's like, dude, these are just people. These are just people and with kids, dads.
I've never had, and this is not me kissing ass because I was there, and if this was a scenario where I'm just trying to kiss ass, I wouldn't even probably bring this up. I never had a bad interaction at all with any of the Bushes. Now, some of the people under them, as far as like the people below them in the chain of command, yeah, but it's for a reason because they're trying to make their boss happy.
Yeah, yeah.
So like they could be the dickhead.
Yeah, yeah.
So
yeah, it's again in Raven Rock by Garrett Graff is he says he interviewed a bunch of Secret Service members, and he said almost to a T across multiple some going back like 40 years. Said none of them. They all kind of said none of these people individually were worth dying for, but they said the office was worth dying for, and so it's like what they're saying is like no, it's like these aren't infallible saints, but they're like once you get up there and you're like protecting them, you're like, okay, maybe I don't agree with this guy politically, but you're like, this is just a dude. This is just a dude, and he's doing his best, what he thinks is best for the nation that like I claim to love. So they're like the office is worth dying for. And yeah, I mean, I feel like you got to get to that point where it's like you see him, you're like, dude, this is just a guy. This is just a guy that shits, brushes his teeth, doesn't like to floss. Like, it's just a dude, right? It's just a guy that gets in the shower and it's like, fuck, the water's too hot. You're like, oh man, this isn't the president. You're like, this is just a guy who's like, man, my butt itches, like, you know. But they got to put on the mask of I'm the president. Like, yeah, man, they're carrying the weight of the world on them.
So even like you said, like in my mind, it would throw me off. Like I'm saying, I'm playing this game and Bush just comes up to me and is like, oh, don't worry about it. What are you doing? Like, in my mind, I always had as a kid, like when the president comes in, like doors fly open, like there's
yeah. President stand, but in reality, it's just like, what's up, man? Gaming? Yeah, dude. There's a good book about Air Force. I think it's literally called Air Force One, but they talk about how that's where you'd see the president be himself because they're like it was such a closed space where you could truly, because they're like the White House, it's their home, but it's like they're like home, like all cameras are on them. But you get to the White House, you can literally put all the press back in one cabin. And the president, they said that's where you'd see them all just be themselves, like put their feet up, just fuck around, make jokes and shit. Yeah. Yeah. Do you know Truman used to actually fly over senators' states that he didn't like? And he'd shit, and then he'd have them dump the septic over their state. Swear to God.
I'm not saying you're lying, but
I'll find the book for everyone listening. I'll find the name of the book and I'll link it in the comments. There's a book called Air Force One. Swear to God, dude, Truman was a nutcase, dude. Truman was a fucking nutcase, man.
Well, to be fair,
LBJ used to take his dick out.
Money, and you're high on the political level doesn't mean that changes what morals are, which a lot of people forget.
Yeah. Shit,
anything, they might go more out the window because now
it's gone to your head, man. Dude, LBJ used to take his dick out. Swear to God.
I'm not. Hey.
Apparently, he had a huge dick and he called it Jumbo. Swear to God, I'm not making this up. He used to pull out Jumbo. I gotta piss again. I'm sorry, man. Podcast late in the day. I always have to stop multiple times because I've been drinking water all day. Early in the morning, I'm dehydrated. Later in the day, I'm like a pregnant woman, man. I just gotta keep going. Downstairs, sorry.
Was that the book?
Air Force One by Kenneth T. Walsh, Chief White House Correspondent. Fucking, I don't know why it's all blurry. God damn it.
Okay, I see it.
Got this weird. I don't know why Skype does that.
So you like using Zoom better, huh? Oh, there we go. That's clear as hell.
There we go. Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah. Kenneth T. Walsh.
Crystal clear.
A History of the Presidents and Their Planes. Yeah.
Okay.
Swear to God, man. They did some crazy shit, man. Apparently JFK had a dog that was like really fucking annoying. It just used to go nuts, and JFK would like zone out. He'd get on board, take like painkillers for his back, and throw back a couple whiskeys, and just pass out. And the dog's running around, but no one wants to like discipline the dog because it's the president's dog, so everyone's just being patient as this fucking annoying like untrained dog's running around, and the president's just zonked out on pills and booze, just like, this is it. This is the tip of the world. Yeah. So that's crazy. I was gonna say, I wrote it down. I feel like Bush owes you like one favor, and it would be like if you ever got like a date with a girl, like wife material, halfway through your first date. You know how people always have like, hey, call me halfway through the date so in case I want to bail, I can be like, I gotta bail. No, you just have Bush call and just be like, 1 second. Oh, Mr. President. And just be like, no, it's cool. I got a date. And put it on speaker and just be like, hey, honey, this is Georgia Bush, man. Just want to let you know he's an upstanding man. I was just calling him. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind having his number. He's a cool guy.
Yeah. Dude, I bet he is, man. I'd fucking party with Bush. I'd party with Obama, too. I bet Obama's fun to party with.
I think all of them would be cool to hang out with depending on the situation.
Completely outside of like politics and like global geopolitical implications. Yeah. I bet Trump would be fun as fuck with to like. I want to go gambling with Trump. That's what I would do.
It would be something Vegas.
3-piece, something
Vegas, like that type.
Strippers, very vain. Yeah. Go stay in like the executive suite, 7-course meal. Gambling without, that's what Obama. What would Obama? Bush would be like. Obama would be like. I would go to like the club with Obama. It'd be like very suave. Maybe like a nice dinner. We take some ladies out. Yeah. Maybe go watch some jazz. Something just very relaxed.
Chill.
Yeah, maybe go on like a first class flight or something. Very Bush.
Outdoors.
I was about to say Bush. Yeah, it'd be out on some plantation or some shit. Pickup trucks, guns, bonfires, just open container, just burning this motherfucker down. Yeah, bunch of illegal guns. Have the Secret Service like get some shit from the armory, some 50 cals. Yeah, throwing up bottles of gas and shit, drinking homemade moonshine, wrestling with alligators and shit. Bush is one of the, you hang out with Bush and the next morning you wake up with no memory, like a broken jaw. You know, he's face down naked in a pile of hay. You don't know what the fuck happened. He's like Southern college, like, frat guy. Yeah, like, you might die if you hang out with him. Like, it'd be fucking crazy. Like,
probably younger Bush, older Bush, but yeah, I get you.
Yeah. It would be insane. It would just be insane. Yeah. It's one of those things you'd, like, wake up and look at videos on your phone the next morning, and it'd be like, you guys are, like, firing off artillery or something. Like, yeah. So, that was obviously an incredibly interesting thing you did, but you're also on American Ninja Warrior, which we actually didn't talk about on the phone. We talked about Survivor.
All right, so this is funny. All right, so I did that. After I left prison support, I got recalled, went to Iraq, did time in Iraq for like a year, and then fast forward through some things, and then I got engaged. I'm gonna sort of skim through that. I got engaged, met this chick who I was like infatuated. This is before I got to like obviously the man I am today. Mm-hmm. Man, I like this hot chick, man. She was, man, I don't know. I just really liked her.
Yeah.
But she didn't like me, whatever. We ended up being friends, exchanged numbers. Met her when I was out in LA, when I was stationed out in California. Stayed in contact. Times lined up good. How do I say this? I shot my shot at her and sort of gave her an ultimatum like, look, I think me and you would be dope together. Mm-hmm. Blah, blah. She didn't know. Finally, I was like, cool, then have a good day. Anyways, She hit me back later. We ended up talking. It's like, all right, look, we're going to try this. But at that moment, so there's a show, and it's funny. My friends, they either call it, because there's so many survival shows. The most popular one is Survivor and Naked and Afraid. Yeah. So even my own friends who watched the TV show, like years later, they're still like, man, remember when you were on Survivor? And I'm like, you came to my viewing party. It wasn't Survivor. Or like some of my friends would be like, dang, man, I still can't believe you did Naked and Afraid. And I'm like,
why didn't
I was not naked.
I was not naked. I was very afraid, but I in fact had clothing on.
No, I did this. Man, I'm gonna try. I did this show where one of my friends who is a wounded veteran. I don't have a picture of him right now, but like he's a very important friend of mine. Mm-hmm. Adam Kezlowski, man, he lost his arm and his leg in Iraq, and me and him, man, we were not good friends at all before he got blown up by IED. But that, like, it's crazy that something that bad is what made us close. And I remember I had to go see him at Walter. No, it was Bethesda in Maryland. Mm-hmm. And I just was like, dang, you got to remember, man, most of these guys are, when they're Marines, man, they're just, I don't want to say we're brainwashed, but like we just egos.
Yeah.
Egos.
Young man. Yeah. Dude, I'm listening to a history of the Pacific War right now, War in the Pacific. And it's these guys talking about after they dropped the nuke. And yeah, one of these, these young Marines that were taking down Okinawa, Iwo Jima, Peleliu. And they were like, I think the exact quote is, it's like under the whole invincible young man, like, we killed Japs facade. They're like, dude, we're scared shitless. When they dropped the nuke, they said we are crying with tears because for the first time we started planning for a future farther than one day ahead. Mm-hmm. And that really puts it into perspective. You're like, oh, damn. These guys were literally like, all right, made it through today. I wonder if we'll be here tomorrow. Because thousands were dying every day. It's on a scale unlike anything that's happened. But yeah, that's what he said. It's like under the whole fearless facade. He's like, dude, we're scared shitless young men. And I don't think it's brainwashing. I think it's bravado. And if you don't have bravado, you're probably going to die. So it's probably useful to have.
Having a good, healthy part of fear, I think, is good.
Yeah.
And then obviously, dude, it is important, especially in today's society, is like, where everybody gets a trophy. It's good to have, as an individual, to have somebody pump you up to feel good about stuff you can achieve.
Yeah.
But there's a limit on both, on how much fear you should have and then on how much bravado, brainwashing, or cockiness you should have. Cockiness and confidence, they're cousins, I guess, depending on the situation. But no, man, I learned that when I saw him, man, that, like, I'm like, dang, like, I'm thinking, dude, we're studs, and how the hell did this happen? And, like, when you see somebody that, like, and, man, you see shrapnel marks on their face and their sternum and stuff, and they're struggling to eat with one hand, and you got to try to act like everything's normal, because the nurses sort of prep you, like, hey, when you go in here and talk to him, he's not going to look like how you last saw him. So if you can, like, don't try to cry.
Yeah.
Like, they're getting mentally where they need to be.
Yeah.
They don't want you going there if you're going to freaking wig out and give them a sob story. They're just now trying to get over that.
Yeah.
So I had to go in there, man, and fake and act like everything was fine and just try to talk to him like a normal human being, which was, like, really, really hard. And Adam, man, you watch this, man. Love you, bro, man. I care about this dude, him and his family, and he's been like a good friend. But
shout out, Adam.
Yeah, the only reason I'm bringing that is because he sort of, I don't want to say guided me, but got me to, like, even doing the TV thing. He sent me this when I was engaged to my ex. He sent me this thing, and it was like, win $1 million if you can not get caught or something. It was some TV show that Matt Damon and Ben Affleck were producing called The Runner, and, like, you could win $1 million or something. But, like, they wanted, like, Navy SEALs, like, special ops guys, and then I was like, man, I'm not doing this shit. I'm not trying to compete with no Navy SEALs or no damn special ops Delta Force guys. And he's like, man, dude, if you on there, dude, I think you would do good. I think it'd be hilarious too. And I'm like, nah, I'm not doing it. He was like, man, you owe me. So I'm like, yeah, I guess I sort of do. And I was like, whatever, they're not going to pick me. So I send in this application. They hit me back like the next day. I did it like the day before the deadline. And they were like, hey, unfortunately, we can't take you for this show because we didn't think that, like, we already thought we had our picks. We didn't think we were going to get somebody like who did, like, Presidential Guard, like, the last day.
Yeah.
So they're like, hey, but we have this other show that producers are working on. We really think you should apply for it. Like, we really urge you that you should apply for it. So I didn't think nothing about it. I didn't respond. Adam hits me back up. He was like, hey, man, so what happened? Did you send that stuff in? I'm like, yeah. He's like, did they get back to you? And I was like, not sort of, but not really. He was like, yeah. What do you mean? So I told him. And he was like, all right, send me a screenshot or whatever of what they sent you. So I read it, and he's like, bro, he was like, you better apply for that. And I'm like, fuck. So what it was, they were like, hey, we think you should apply for this show where they try to make it sound cool. They're like, you're going to visit these exotic landscapes where very few people have seen. They're like, you're going to be on, like, breathtaking mountains and da-da-da-da. And I'm, like, reading it. And then it was like, by the way, you're going to be by yourself and you're probably not going to have any food. You got to find your own food and it's going to be very difficult. So, like, they give you, like, this paradise feeling and then they're like, oh, yeah, bam, 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 bam. And I'm like, oh, hell no, because I don't even like camping, by the way. I don't even like camping with people.
Dude, I don't even like going outside, man.
So I went ahead and I'm like, hell no, I ain't doing this shit. So I sent it to him. He hits me back and he's like, man, you need to do it. And I'm like, no, you said I should do the damn special ops thing. And so he gave me this guilt trip and he's like, man, he goes, I'm lucky enough to still be alive. I got my wife who stayed by my side. I got a kid. And he goes, for missing an arm and a leg, I'm doing great. And he goes, but man, I would love to now seeing that how, this isn't word for word, but anyway. So, but, like, he's like, to have the opportunity that where I look at things in life different, to even just have the opportunity to try to tackle that would be amazing. Mm-hmm. So I was like, all right, man. I'm like, you know what? Fine. I'm like, they're not going to pick my black ass anyway. So fine. Forget it. Fine, Adam. I'll fill it out. So I showed my fiance. She starts cracking up laughing. She's like, go ahead. This is going to be funny. She's like, they're not going to pick you. She's like, There's no way you don't know anything about, because there's this big misconception. People think that if you're in the military, that you know how to survive by yourself in an exotic place you've never been before. Like, and that made me so mad. So, like, when I did the show, like, people would message me while the show was on. They're like, bro, how have you not eaten for 2 days? Like, weren't you? And I'm like, people watch Rambo and all these movies, and they that's real life.
Yeah.
Like, guys, Rambo is not real life.
Yeah. You guys have MREs. You have you have supply chains. You have,
Like, people think that every person in the military should be able to be dropped off at some place they have no fucking idea where they're going. It should just be fucking, we'll walk out with like sheepskin and lion coat.
Dead lion, just straight. You're right. Some Jason Bourne shit. Yeah, reading license plates from a mile. Some of them are trained to do that. Not, but there's a reason why it's some. It's not. Yeah.
And this is what people forget. The biggest thing about military. Work together as a unit. They don't train you to work by yourself.
Yeah.
And so, but if you do that type of stuff, you go through schooling specified to learn how to survive, like SEER school, which I never went to. I actually, they tried to get me to go, but I didn't. I'm not gonna lie, like I was terrified to go to SEER school.
Excuse me.
Yeah. Like I just had a problem. Like, I'm young. I don't want people putting me in a cage or slapping me in my face.
Yeah.
Like, I'm good. I'm working for the president. I don't want to go do that right now.
Yeah. Dude, Mike. I had on Mike Durant, the pilot that was shot down. Everyone knows from Black Hawk Down. He talks about in his book, In the Company of Heroes. Said SEER school was like one of the least enjoyable things. Like, almost on par. Not as bad as being captured, but he was like close second. He was like, it sucked.
I want to go.
He's like, I'm hungry, I'm tired, getting beat up. Like, I don't fucking want to do it. Yeah.
Like, a lot of guys will not tell you that. Like, I'll openly say, like, my first sergeant tried to get me to go to SEER school twice, but like, I made up these other excuses of schools that I needed to go to before that were valid, and I was like, I'm not scared, man. I was terrified. I didn't want to go. I just didn't want to. Like, I don't care that I look like a badass. At 37, like, I'm fine with being underestimated.
Yeah. Like,
I don't want to prove, like, how much more badass I am by telling that, like, man, people are pouring water on my face and slapping me around. Like, so anyways, man, we get tougher. So my fiance is, like, at this moment already just sort of, I didn't see it, but this is one thing that's important about having a woman, and this goes women too. Like, you got to have if you're with a man, you got to have a man who, like, believes in you. I understand joking is cool, but, like, there were signs that, like, she was already negative about me doing something that only 6 people in the world were going to get a chance to do, because this is the first season. We're starting everything off on this season of the show. The show is called The Wheel. And so the thing behind the show is that you get 6 people. They try to put it like every average day people, but, like, actually all these people are sort of badass. Like, we got Adam, and he ran across America in 60 days. He's considered the real life Forrest Gump. We got this guy Luke, who's like a father of 6. They try to give him he's just a plumber, but he's very fucking smart. Did, like, Boy Scouts, all this other stuff, but he's, like, in his 40s. Very smart guy. He gets on my nerves sometimes, but we're all cool. We got this chick Lindsay. She's done the Ironman. She's a triathlete, but she's also she's not a supermodel. She's damn near a supermodel. She looks pretty good. And then we got this chick named Kat, she's like an anesthetist or something, but, like, she's a nurse, and she travels and hikes all these, like, mountains and stuff. But they sort of just, like, they want to pass this off as, like, oh, we got this one guy who, like, qualified for the Olympics as a wrestler, but then broke his back. But, like, all these people did it, but they want to make us sort of seem like every average day people. So it's to get 6 every average day people, take them around the world in 6 different climates, from the desert all the way to, like, freezing tundra, and to let them survive by themselves for 60 days. And I didn't know what causes the switch. They wouldn't tell us. And I didn't know if I was going to Africa. I didn't know if I was going to be going to Australia, Russia. They would not tell us. And you know how hard it is to prepare to survive in a land that you don't know where you're going?
It's very difficult.
I know. I don't know what it's like. I don't know. I normally am pretty sure where I'm going. I think you're in a unique situation. No, but obviously, yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, prepare to survive. Where am I surviving? Well, it's somewhere on the planet.
YouTube videos where all the videos you're watching, dude, I probably watched like 200 YouTube videos getting ready for this. I'm like, I could possibly watch 200 videos that don't mean shit because I don't know where I'm going.
Yeah. Yeah, jungle, desert, mountain, snow, yeah,
jungle. So Amazon. So, anyways, so she's like, you know what? She's laughing, but I couldn't see at the beginning. I felt like she was sort of being a hater, but like this is big. Like guys, ladies, if you date, man, and you spend your time with somebody. Be with somebody who supports you having hobbies, doing what you like doing. And if you're going to want to try to tackle something in your life that means a lot to you that you and only 5 other people are going to do, and like they don't support you, like fuck them.
Yeah.
I understand you invest all this time, and I was like, man, we invest all this time together. But man, I tell you what, I live paycheck to paycheck now. I live by myself, but I've learned so much about myself in these past 4 years being single, living paycheck to paycheck, than when I was not really worrying about money with dual incomes and having an extra $5,000 to $1,000 to spend a month. Like it's cool having money, but you can't put a price on me. What I get to do now, I go to work, I come home, I do whatever I want. I do breakdancing battles. I work part-time at a gym. I get to have fun. I get to do whatever. Like, you can't put a price on freedom.
Yeah.
So, not trying to say that being single is awesome, but like, hey, if you're going to spend your time with somebody, just make sure they back you up. Like, and if they don't appreciate you having personal hobbies that you like to do, man, like, just fuck them. Yeah. So, anyways,
I was gonna say it's not like guys just got married and you have 2 little babies and another one on the way, and you're just like, fuck it, I'm going on TV. I could get that, but no, if it's just single, you're living the single life. Yeah, it'd be one thing if you're a dad and it's like, what do you mean you're just going to Australia? Like, you have 2 kids. Like, I'm in my 2nd trimester, and you're like, bitch, I'm gonna be on Survivor. Like, I could see where you get angry, but I mean, single, it's man. Yeah, if they're making fun of it, dude, it's fuck them.
So then it went from like her just being like this is going to be interesting. Go ahead and do it, but they're not going to pick you. You don't know anything what you're doing in the wilderness, and like you don't have any qualifications. And I'm like, yeah, you're right, but hey, Adam. She's like, all right, cool. So she thought it was funny. I remember the first day. I want to say like 2-3 weeks later, Discovery Channel calls me. I'm in the other room, and I'm like chilling, I think I'm actually playing a video game in the other room, and then all of a sudden, like, I get my phone calls, and it's like I'm looking, and it says Los Angeles, and I'm like something's not right. I've never got a Los Angeles call before, so someone's like, pick it up. I picked it up, and this lady's like, hi, is this just Shon? This is Ashley from Discovery Channel. Can I speak with Shon, please? And I'm like, huh? And she's like, I'm like, oh shit. I'm real went there. I like close the door, like talk to her on the phone for about 15-20 minutes just to get a feel for my personality. Anyways, I went through this whole process. She's like, a producer get in touch with you. I like our conversation. Definitely you got a personality for TV. She's like, whether you could do this or not, I don't know, but like we like people with personality. And so, bam, all that. They took me through this process. Like, they're letting me know, like, I'm a quarterfinalist and a semifinalist. And then towards the end, man, I just saw my, I don't want to say women, but certain people, they get jealous of the other person getting attention. Mm-hmm. Like, some people, they only want their focus for you in the relationship is be them. That means they don't want you working out. They don't want you probably trying to better yourself. They just want you to worry about them, which is pretty selfish. And that's what jealousy does. So I remember when I would come home, the show got to the part where they said, look, dude, they go, if you're this far in the process, one of the producers like, I'm gonna be blunt with you. He's like, you got a good chance that you're gonna get picked. He's like, but I'm gonna tell you, there's about 80 other people we're looking at. But I want to let you know, these 80 people, we want we would love for all of them to make it. Unfortunately, there's going to be 6 of you guys. So he goes, I'm going to tell you this. I don't tell everybody. He goes, it would, at this moment, you probably want to start saying something to your job that you might be leaving for 2 to 3 months and talk stuff over your significant other. And at this moment, you probably really need to start practicing some of the stuff you're watching. So I'm like, I did that. I would come home and I would leave to go over my buddy's house who had land to start just trying to like, oh, have you ever tried to make a fire with just wood?
No, I can't even imagine how you practice. Like, what the fuck would I do? I feel like I'd be outside, like, I don't even know what.
It's extremely...
I'd be, like, sniffing trees. I'd be like, ah, yes, this one's alive. Like, okay, there's a ladybug. I'm ready. Like...
Don't let the YouTube video... You'll find a YouTube video where this person makes it look so easy, but they got the right type of wood. They got the right type of tree. Yeah. They got the right type of circumstances where it's sunny outside, or like. But then there's some videos like they make it look easy, but you got to remember you're going to not trying to do this off in a foreign land where you don't know the landscape at all. So, anyways, I'm going to try to practice, and I'm like just getting frustrated because I'm like, dude, I can't. Like, I've been trying to do a bow drill fire. I've been trying to do a hand drill fire, and so I'm sweating, and so it's like whatever. So fast forward, leading up before I leave to get on the show, we just started arguing about all kinds of stuff. Like, I think she was putting me in a situation that's like, look, you come home from work and then you go out and you do this, and like all you care about now is the show. Like, you're gonna get famous, and all these chicks are gonna talk to you now and all this stuff. And I'm like, dude, I'm going to be putting myself through a mental, physical challenge by myself. I'm not worried about these other hoes right now.
I was about to say, yeah, leave it to a girl. Leave it to a girl to take. You're like, I'm gonna go try survive in the wild, and they're like, you're gonna be seeing other sluts. Like, how the fuck did you just go from A to Z? I'm like, I'm gonna get on a show and go survive in the wild. Bet there's some other hoes out there with better butts than me. You're like, bitch, the fuck?
Some aboriginal women out there.
Yeah, like, I'm gonna go see my mom. I bet you're gonna go hang out with some Abercrombie model. Like, Tommy, what? How the fuck did you just go from A to Z?
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna be out there with some hot Amazonian women. I'm gonna find the Atlantis, bitch.
Yeah. So we went through that, and I felt like there was a void to where it was like, all right, I got to do whatever I can to make him choose me or this show, because if we would go to parties, like any, I don't want to say I'm the life of the party, but my friends love having me around. If they got get-togethers, parties, cookouts, whatever, I just like having a good time. So like when we would go out and people would show me a lot of attention, like some people have that personality where they get jealous, like they want to be the only person giving you attention and you giving them. But like I get there sometimes, I'm like, hey, you good? You got your drink? Okay, you good, babe? All right, I'm gonna go over here, talk to my friends, have fun with your friends over here. And so anyways, like I'm telling you this because it got to this point, it was like I feel like she was trying to have me pick her over the show, and it was like we had an agreement. At the beginning, she did say, hey, if you get through this is going to be hilarious. I support you. Literally came out of her mouth. Now we're getting towards the end, and she's saying, like, I remember she got to the part where she came in one time, and after I got off the phone with a producer, and she was like, Shon, and I was like, what? She goes, they're going to pick you. I can feel it. And this is like where it's only me and like only 100 people they're going to pick now. And I'm like, I still got to battle out 100 people left. And she's like, no, she's like, in the beginning, like, I didn't think there's no way. But she was like, I could hear, like, just them talking to you in the other room. And she's like, they're going to pick you. I just know it. And I was like, I didn't. So anyways, long story short, I got picked.
Yeah, don't sound so sad about it.
Yeah. Oh, she was.
I know you're going to succeed, damn it.
Yeah.
Man, if you get selected for presidential security, be like, I think luck's on my side. Like...
Yeah, but like when you know that there's Navy SEALs who are in the mix and all this stuff, is like I don't know if they're looking for 6 different people, but all sort of like still badass people. They don't want people to come on here and just tap out, like, because that's what happens on Naked and Afraid. You got these qualified people, or you watch the show Alone. And I have a whole big respect for outdoors after going through that. Man, I lost 30 pounds, man. And like when you're living, literally not camping, but living in nature for over a month, oh my gosh, man, it'll change your whole mind.
Fuck that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Still like, I would have nightmares. Like when I had to see a psychiatrist and everything when I was done. I remember, dude, I'd wake up with like nightmares like that. When I was even back in the States, I would wake up with like nightmares that like I was somewhere like near like, I don't even know where the hell I was at, but I was still starving. It was just like, man, it's crazy. Anyway. So,
where were you? Or are you getting it? Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. I got picked for the show, and then by the time I got back home, and it was so. I tell you this. Something in your life, or anybody who's watching, where let's say they go. So you get presented this opportunity that's very difficult, but it's very rewarding if you succeed. So you're like, all right, I'm going to go do it. You think you're about that life. They pump you up. Same thing like when I went to Iraq. They pump you up. I did all this training. Okay, shit's about to go down. I'm ready. Man, when we first rolled through that first city, I was fucked. My heart was beating like a motherfucker.
Just puking, shit in my pants. I would
because now all this training's done. Now you see these dudes. You see people looking at you with real hate in their eyes. Like
you come from training where it's like rah, you're the best. What? Sorry, you just broke up for a second.
They drop your and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You go through training where they're like, you're the best, you're the most badass ever, fucking America, and then you get there and it's like sunny, quiet. You're just like, oh fuck, oh shit, like we're not in Kansas anymore.
Yeah,
like
it hit you differently. So it all started sinking in where I got through the process. Like the process is crazy itself, but so I remember the last day. After I did multiple interviews, I did have a decent feeling that I was going to get. I had this feeling like, fuck, I think I'm going to get picked. I was like, because I know they're going to have a black person. They're going to have a black person on there. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I can. This is going to sound a little kite, but I'm like, I'm pretty sure I can beat out all these other black people. Like, I'm not trying to be like judgmental, but I don't think because you're literally this is what you're thinking of. If you want to win, you're thinking about all these other people you see, and I'm like. Damn, that dude's big. He's buff. Oh, shit. That dude's probably a Navy SEAL. Oh, damn, that chick's hot. She's probably going to get picked because they need sex appeal. So you're sizing everybody up. It's human nature. So just so nobody's think I'm trying to be cocky.
Nothing wrong with that, man.
So people up. And so I'm like, all right, I know they're going to pick. Let me not worry about all these other, like, white people. Let me focus on the black people that I can see. I think I can beat out all these other black people. I'm pretty sure.
For everyone listening, Sean's black. Because if up until this point you haven't heard it, if you're just listening on Spotify, up until this point you're gonna be like, "Oh shit, man! The vast majority of my guests are white." I've had on, I fucking can't even remember it. Aaron and Kevin, and yeah, man. Point being, Sean's black. This isn't just one of my like white Georgia friends. Like, yeah, I'm sizing up all these black folk. Like, oh fuck, that's how you get cancel culture, man. Sean's black. It's okay. It's okay. Put your pitchforks down. He's black. Stand down.
Thomas has on a Confederate uniform, be like Clayton Bigsby.
Yeah, someone's seriously. Ah, damn it, yeah. Though blind KKK, yeah. Nope. Sean's black. It's good. I can make fun of the white people. Sean, we're covered. Yeah. We got it.
So at that moment, I'm like, let me not worry about these hot chicks. Let me not worry about these white guys. Let me just know that I can, I believe I can beat out any other black people here. And they got to have one black person. I feel like they're going to have one black person. So that was my thing. Man, I remember, I remember two producers, a security person comes up to my room at like 1 a.m. I'm in this hotel. I couldn't leave this hotel. I didn't go outside for 3 days. Like they take this shit super serious. I had to go through let me not try to go, but they took me through this intense ass, IQ test, this intense ass, personality psychological exam where I'm like, they're not gonna find out shit. Dude, this shit was so accurate. Like all the red flags that popped up about me. So for instance, this is one thing which me and you sort of had this talk, so like about your brother and everything. But one thing that they flagged for me, I had 3 flags. Like one was about me, like my aggression or anger. One was me because they asked you like 5 questions, but they reworded. And after a while, you're like, fuck, man, I answered this. Like, yes, no, or maybe, or whatever. So, like, they asked me, they go, we got a flag about you, like, being suicidal or something. And I'm like, huh? And I'm like, how? And they're like, we just look at all this stuff. And so the lady, she was like, well, you may not have realized it, but in a way of these questions is that you've thought about suicide. And I'm like, she's like, we're going to give you time to explain. And I'm like, okay. And I go, this is my feeling about it. I don't see how as you as a human being cannot imagine what life would be without you.
Yeah. That's the oldest question.
And so I had broken down to her, like, and I was like, I don't go day by day thinking like I want to take my life. I go, I just really multiple times I would be like, would people care about me if I was gone? Or like what if I wasn't, like, just weird stuff. Yeah. What would it be like if I wasn't here? But it doesn't think that I want to take my life. So I broke it down to her like that. And then she was like, oh, like, okay, Then a few other things. So bam, the producers come in the room like 1 a.m. They're like, hey, they go, we usually try to joke around with you and like play with people, let them know that like, hey, sorry, you didn't make it. But they're like, it's late and we got to get you to medical. And they're like, we need your passport. They're like, congratulations, you made it. And I'm like, hold on. I'm like, am I an alternate? Because I know that they're going to pick 2 alternates in case something happened. I'm like, am I an alternate or am I on the show? They go, no, you're on the show. And they're like, we need your, and I go, and they go, you need to go to, we're taking you to medical right now so you can get your, I had to get the shots. Oh gosh. These crazy shots for like going overseas into like the wilderness. And then they're like, you got to get your, this shot, and then we need to get you your malaria pills. And I'm like, oh, like at that moment, like, because everybody just wants to win something and be the selected few. But then I was like, damn, there's no more me talking shit to try to beat out these other people. Now
you're like, oh fuck, I won. You're like, oh fuck. Yeah.
I'm like, oh crap. It's about to happen here in a few weeks.
What is that feeling? What is that feeling? Man, it's like?
Because have you could talk about let's have you been in a fist fight before?
I fought a girl when I was 14.
Did she face it all?
She punched me in the side of the head. I remember seeing stars. I was on a beach in Florida, 14 years old, bowl cut.
Good point. So I've been in a lot of fights. Half the time, I've been lucky enough. When I was younger, I got beat up a lot. But once I got like puberty and strong and shit, about like around 16, I would start winning majority of the fights. But like sometimes in fights didn't go the way I want. Like I got a few scars on my face, some stitches. But when you feel real confident that you're about to fuck somebody up, and then you get caught with a punch that you didn't see coming, or you see blood dripping down your face, it is like, whoa. Like that confidence sort of like is like, whoa, hold on, what just happened?
Yeah.
And so like that's how that was. It's like you get like, oh man, hell yeah, I'm ready to do this stuff. And it's like, all right, bitch, here we go. You ready? And it's like, I don't care how hard. Like you talk to anybody who's done Naked and Afraid, anybody who's done Alone. I don't know about Survivor. It's a little bit different. They got games and stuff they play on there, and they give them snacks if they win a challenge. It's still hard though. But you ask anybody who's like a real survivalist, dude, they will tell you Mother Nature will humble you. I don't care how much stuff you think you know. You're going to lose weight every day unless you're at a damn stocked pond just where there's just tons of fish and you can just scoop them up. But, like, dude, it's such a humbling experience. A lot of these people, man, they think they're great outdoorsmen, but they got their guns, they got their little fishing gear, their little tackle box, and they're bringing probably snacks with them. Surviving on the land with limited stuff without any light source. I wasn't allowed a flashlight, no lighter, no nothing. man, it'll humble the hell out of you.
Fuck that.
I'll say this because we might have to do a part 2 some other time because we're at 1:33.
Yeah, dude, we can do whatever, man.
I mean, if you're cool, but man, like this survival thing is like a whole nother level. So like,
dude, most people come on multiple times because we just have too much shit to talk about. I don't give a fuck, dude. We don't gotta cover it all today.
Yeah,
do whatever you want. Do whatever you want.
Let me paint this landscape of the beginning of the survival thing.
All right,
and then we'll call it.
We'll tease it.
We'll call this like a part 1.
It'll be the end of episode 1. That will be the teaser.
They're like, hey man, you got a week and a half to get your shit ready. I'm like, all right. At that moment, my ex is gone. I get back to Indiana. My ex is gone. She packed up, left those 3 days I was gone. Dude, I broke down in tears because it went from in a matter of 24. The day before I left, I didn't see my ex. She was like, I'm going to go stay with a friend. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, I'm at this moment, like, I'm not going to let you distract me from anything.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm just whether you with me or not. Like, we had a big argument. I was like, peace. When I came back, 80% of the stuff in my place is gone. Like, she had packed up, moved, dipped somewhere. And I remember, like, I cried because it was like in a matter of 24 hours,
yeah,
I'm trying to battle like 100 people for 6 slots. And then I get told, guess what? You made it. You're about to go to some foreign land and we're not telling you where you're going yet still. To hopping on a plane and coming back and I'm opening my place and it's like 80% empty. And I'm, what just happened? Like,
yeah.
Now I like pack up to get ready to go to this foreign land. So like, I remember I just cried for like 5 minutes. Was like, this is like a crazy past 12 hours.
Yeah.
And so, like something in my mind, I'm spiritual, but I was like, I feel like God or was like, hey man, suck it up, cry for 5 minutes, start packing, start getting your life ready because you're about to go on this adventure that only you and 5 other people about to do.
Yeah, nut up.
Got that out of my system, and then I remember, man, I talked, like, luckily, man, my job, they were really supportive. I thought I might have to quit my job because it's like, they're like, damn, you might be leaving for 2 to 3 months, but my job was real supportive, and I appreciate them for that. And then I remember I got on, time comes, I go back to LA. I talked to, like, the head director guy of, like, Discovery Channel. And they asked me about my fiance. I'm like, yeah, we're done. I'm like, well, thanks for coming to this and that. Like, some people, man, they get the ultimatum and they're going to pick somebody they love. And I'm like, man, this is about to be a big part of my life. It could go quick or it's going to be a long, grueling process. So I remember they gave me like this lady who spoke. I knew she spoke multiple languages, but I knew she was really proficient in Spanish. So I was like, dang, I think I might be going somewhere in Central South America. And I'm like, I'm not sure yet, though. This might be my first location. I might get a Russian person down the line. I don't know. Still, I just don't know. I'm guessing everything because they won't tell me shit. So the premise of the wheel is that 6 different landscapes, 60 days. You don't know what's going to change your switch location. All you know is that what I did, they wouldn't tell me. But this is what causes the change. It's every full moon, every half moon. So it's the lunar cycle of the moon, which is like when you put it out in a circle, which is how they got the name the wheel.
Ah, okay.
Know that. I didn't know what was going to cause a switch. But like if I would have knew that, like nobody knew. Nobody could put the clue together of that we were changing. I knew anyway. So we get on this plane. And I remember I start realizing I'm going to South America by like, I could see like the pamphlets and stuff. And then I remember, all I was like, is I was like, God, I was like, please do not give me the Amazon first.
Yeah.
I was like,
fuck that.
I said, please do not give me Amazon. I had a feeling Amazon was going to be on it. I just had a feeling. I was like, I just heard so many grueling stories about the Amazon, and I'm like, I have a feeling Amazon's going to be somewhere on the list. And so I said, Lord, please not give me the Amazon first. Like, just like help me build up my toughness to get there, but I don't want to be dropped off because I might tap out the first day.
I would. Fuck that shit, dude. Fuck the jungle.
And then I said, do not give me a cold ass, because obviously I'm black. I said, do not give me the cold ass place first. Like, that's all I asked. Like, all the things I did, please do not give me those first two first. So I saw, oh shit, hold on. No, I'll do this in the part two, because this will be, I'll tell you like leading up. But anyway, so I'll do some backtracking on the next episode. But I just want to give this leading up to like where shit's about to get real. Man, I see like all of a sudden I know I'm somewhere hot. I can feel it's nighttime, but it's still hot. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm going to be in the desert. Like I have a good feeling it's desert. So, but it was night and like I'm still in like this town. And then I remember I saw this pamphlet and like, dude, my like guardian angel lady who spoke another language, she was like strict. She was sort of mean. I think they gave me her because I was in the military. But like, if she saw me looking around, because I'm trying to see where the fuck I'm going. So I remember she's like, Sean, I need you to stop looking around, because I had grabbed this pamphlet. Because I'm like, man, Sean, I'm trying to see where I'm at on the map.
Language
I have
it is,
no idea where I'm at.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm in South America. So I found this map. She's over like talking to like, because we're waiting for crews to pick us up. And I'm trying like, oh shit, okay, I'm right here. She comes, snatches this thing out of my hand, and she was like, I'm not gonna tell you again. Stop looking through. And I was like, all right. So, man, we go through the night, and I remember, dude, we're driving through the night. These people pick us up. Bam, I skipped through, but like, dude, I remember ending up on this beat up ass ranch, man. Like, there's this dude looked like he was 100 old. I don't know which direction I'm going. Man, I just remember, like, dude, I was seeing everything. I was delirious. I couldn't sleep because I'm like, all I know is that they're like, hey, tomorrow is showtime. And I'm like, I'm just delirious. I can't sleep good on planes anyway. And I'm like, I already feel like shit because I'm just mentally exhausted before it even started. And then I remember, like, at nighttime, dude, there's this dude with tattered up ass clothes, this beat up ass ranch. And I thought I saw a kangaroo jumping in some road somewhere. I just saw some weird animals. I'm like, man, I didn't see a kangaroo. I don't know what I saw. So I remember I wake up and I couldn't sleep that night because that shit was weird. Some shit went down. I'll tell that next episode. But so last part, I'm gonna tell you. Then we're gonna wrap this up.
All right.
I remember I wake up in the morning. I see this dude with the straw hat. Was it Brazil? No, we weren't in Brazil. We're in Argentina. This Argentinian dude, beat up ass clothes shit. He was, we got in this beat up truck. The camera crew's there. There's the Suburbans. There's some white cameramen and everything. And like, everybody's nice to me. They're like, hey, Sean, like, we're about to start everything. At this moment, I'm still feeling good because I'm like, these people have been awesome. They've been nice to me. So there's probably about like 20 people. Hold on. Not 20, I would say. Not like 15 people there. There's some drones in the air, Suburbans. They're like, hey, man, we're just going to get some shots of you getting in this vehicle, of him taking you further out into the wilderness. And then, man, we're going to kick it off. And I'm like, I still like, okay, cool. Like, I still feel comfortable because there's like 15 people there. So I get in this dude's thing. They give me this little pack that has everything for 60 days. Like, change of clothes for if I make it to the next spot. And I remember there was this thing. He was like, hey, man, he goes, you got 5 minutes to eat whatever you can, and you're done. You're on your own. I remember there was this apple. There was like this, and I remember I just started like, I probably could have ate way more, but I was just so mentally exhausted.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, man, like, I don't care anymore. Like, I just want to, let's just get this over with.
Yeah.
So I remember I get in this dude's truck. He drives me, and man, it's just dirt everywhere, and it's hot. It's starting to get hot. They're like, we're trying to kick this out before it gets blazing out here. I'm like, oh, shit. Oh. So I don't know how hot it's going to get because I got there at night.
Yeah.
And it was sort of hot.
Fuck that.
And we're close to the equator. The closer you are to the equator, the hotter it gets.
Yeah.
So I remember we drive off. They're like, hey, we're going to do a few shots of him coming back around. So I'm like, all right, cool. All of a sudden, man, this dude, he didn't speak really any English. I remember he had this rosary in his car. And I'll tell you this, man. You don't got to tell me, but anybody who listens or watches this is that, hey, if you're not religious, that's cool. If you're not spiritual, that's cool. I have friends who are atheists, but I like when something is going to take a mental mentally, physically, socially, emotional, like detrimental impact on your life, you're looking for whatever it is that you can
reaching out
to help you get through that moment. And it hasn't even happened yet, but I know it's coming. I can feel it. Like I had that feeling of, have you seen the movie Russell Crowe, not Troy? That's with what's the movie with Russell Crowe? Damn, Gladiator. You never seen it?
I told you earlier, man. I live under a cultural rock. I don't watch shit.
Good thing. If I'm not telling you to watch it, but go on YouTube. Just look up the opening scene of where they're about to go into the Coliseum, and they're about to go against these real good gladiators who are about to tear them to shreds. Like, you see these guys standing, and Russell Crowe is like, "Hey, we can beat these guys. Some of you guys are going to die, but we got to work as a team." And you can see this guy just piss running down his legs, shaking, because between his things, he sees these guys with chariots, and he hears this crowd, and you just see guys who are just like crying because they know their life's about to end.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure those guys were looking for a higher power at that
moment.
Absolutely.
No such thing as no atheists in foxholes. Yeah.
Like, so thank you. So all I know is that this guy, I'm in his truck, and I look at him, and he says something to me in Spanish, and I don't know what it is. And then he points. He has this rosary hanging in his truck, and he was like, he looks at me and he points at the rosary, and he like gives me a thumbs up, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like, yeah, like, okay,
sure.
Whatever. And so I remember he told me, like, he points at like Norte, Sortania or something. So I knew he was talking northeast, southwest. I felt like he was trying to help me, but I was like, couldn't get the gist of it. And then he just like did like this, and it was like, and I remember one of the producers was like, all right, Shon, they're like, hey, this is it. Once you leave this vehicle, you're on your own. And dude, like the scenery, it was crazy. Like, they dropped me off, and I just remember these Suburbans just pulling back, leaving. I remember just this drone above me, and then like all these people who I felt cared about me and got me to this place safely was just like just peeling off. And I just remember seeing like a dirt trail of like the Suburbans leaving, and I was like, these motherfuckers really just left me out here.
Oh, we're really doing it.
And then they're like, so the cameraman, and I'm about to wrap this up, but like some people are like, oh, there are cameramen there. Like, didn't you? So these cameramen don't give a shit about you. Like, they don't give a damn about you. You'll know when I tell you what some of the stuff I endured. And these dudes, all they care is they got the good angle.
They got the shot, man.
So these guys have worked. The cameramen, they all work off a contract. So they've worked for National Geographic. So they've seen African kids starving to death, like with their bellies poked out with flies and their, all like in their eyelids.
I was gonna say, it's like this Sam Kinison.
American ass.
You know the comedian Sam Kinison?
Yeah.
He's like, when they're shooting the commercials for like UNICEF, and the director's like, all right, zoom in, get them looking hungry, don't give them the sandwich yet. Like, we need to get the shot. Right. But yeah, that's what it did. Yeah, I don't give a fuck, dude.
Yeah, so like, there was a point where I was like, these dudes don't give a shit. Of like, it all synced in that they're not like after they cut the camera, they're like, hey man, dude, these dudes, when they're done, they're out of there. Like, there's hardly any communication, very little. They're ghosts as well. They move fluently through the landscape. All they care about is doing their job, getting their shots, and then they're out of there. And then I'm stuck with my personal camera the rest of the night. So all that stuff hit. They left. There's like 2-3 cameramen spread out through distance. And I remember I'm just trying to, like, all of a sudden, man, my heart's beating hard. The sun's coming out. I'm crawling through all this brush, and I'm just trying to find water. That's the most important thing in survival. Survival is trying to find water. You get like 2-3 days if you're lucky, and then you're done. And I remember I was just like, I just didn't know what direction I wanted to go. I felt like every direction I was going was the wrong way. You just start second guessing yourself. And I think I'll stop there. But like that right there was, I had 3 pivotal moments where I felt like I wanted to quit. You're allowed to quit whenever you wanted to, but you got to remember all the shit you talk and all the people you bid out to get that position. So I remember I like that was my first moment where I felt like quitting because I felt like shit's real. I'm abandoned now, and I don't even know where to go to get water, and I'm sweating profusely already. And yeah, man. So that's Tommy. I guess we'll sort of stop there.
Wrap it up there. I was gonna say, what if they drop you off and you're on some ranch, and then you just hear George Bush's voice, and was like, "What's up, fucker?" You're like, "Oh no, what up, Bush?" And he's like, "I'm hunting you." Like, oh fuck. You're like, "Oh fuck, dude, I'd rather survive in the Amazon. I've partied with
you. You're gonna hunt me now.
I've partied with Bush before. Please, don't make me throw. You have to survive 60 days on a ranch with Bush. Nothing but beef and grain alcohol."
Yeah. Well, hey, dude. Hey, this is almost 2 hours, man. I'm sorry.
There's no schedule or structure or time to this. Some are 30 minutes. A couple are 4.5 hours. Dude, I don't give a fuck. It's whatever.
I've done this a few times, but it's like I have multiple different versions that I don't talk about sometimes or I forget. So like, man, I can have like 20 interviews and they're all going to be 20 different interviews. But like this interview might be better than that one because I did this topic. Or that one might be So, dude, I definitely talked about some stuff that I haven't before, or like definitely put a different spin because as I'm getting older,
you look at it differently.
I'm still processing stuff different.
Dude, there's no right or wrong way to do this podcast. There's no, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Just do whatever, man. It's, I enjoyed it. It's I'll text you after this. It always takes forever to upload this shit, so I'll start uploading it. After this, takes a while. I'll text you because I start working this weekend at a liquor store. I got weird hours. So, what?
Send me that little thing you post on your Instagram so I can post it on my social media so people can watch it.
Yeah,
like a little part.
Yeah, I will. But I was gonna say, let's set up another one. I'll text you after this. I don't know why I'm trying to figure it out right now. I'll text you after this, and we can figure out part 2. Fuck yeah, man! Thanks for doing it.
No, man, thank you for having me, man. Man, I hope you have a good day. And next time when we do a time, we'll text. We'll try to figure out something that's I will obviously want to be a little bit more convenient to you two, but I just knew for a fact I would be here by 4.
Yeah,
before that, I don't know.
It's fine. Dude, we'll figure it out. There's no rush. Shout out George Bush.
You have a good night, and we'll talk soon.
You too. Hey, shout out George Bush, and for keeping it real.
Yeah. All right, take care, bro.
All right, buddy.
Later.
Peace.